What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. We are on season 3, episode 6. So we pick up where we left off last week with we're still down to the Taco Tuesdays, down to Melody's house, and we have Destiny and Tiffany and Mel somewhere in the middle. And Destiny got an attitude, so she is, like, in my opinion, doing team too much, because there were times where I feel like I understood her anger and I understood where she was coming from. And you know how sometimes you get mad at somebody, and at that point it really doesn't matter what they do or say, you just mad. Like, they could say, I like your shoes. I don't care about you liking my shoes. Like, I feel like that's where Destiny was with Melody at that point. There really wasn't anything Melody could say or do until Destiny was over it or felt like she said what she had to say and got it off her chest. But because she didn't really want to engage in that conversation in front of Tiffany or the whole group, she just sat there with an attitude. They were talking about, Mel was like, well, can we just agree? And before Mel could even finish her sentence, no, we can't. Mel was like, I didn't even finish what I was saying. Can we just agree that there was no ill intent? And Destiny was like, well, I don't think I can do that because I don't know if there was or wasn't. I'm with Destiny on that, though. I do think there was ill intent. I think that Tiffany walked into that situation and was like, I need to create a moment. And I'm going to create my moment. However, whoever, and whenever it has to happen. That's what I believe. And Tiffany now is sitting there like, well, I was just trying to Here's the thing. There's no universe where you could have thought, first of all, you didn't even know whether Destiny was still married to LeBerick at that point, at least as far as we know, you didn't know. And there's no reason in the world for you to bring that up. Like, if anything, that would have been the one thing I would have hoped you didn't remember. If I'm meeting somebody for the second time, and the first time I met them is because I accidentally thought that they were with their husband at an event, I saw him with another woman, I would be hoping that they forgot about that encounter, not bringing it up going, remember that time? So I understand Destiny's anger, but I do feel like she was just doing a lot. Because then there was another part where Melody started talking about her and Martell. They were going to counseling for co-parenting. And I was actually interested in hearing what Melody had to say about that, because I wanted to see how it was going. Was it working? Wasn't it working? And Destiny cuts Melody off, and Melody was like, I'm not done talking. And Destiny was like, but I just wanted to say, you said boundaries. And she was like, but boundaries, like, right, like you're violating the boundaries now because you're cutting me off. I didn't cut you off. I was just agreeing, but you are cutting her off. And then we never got to the damn what she was gonna say about Martell and the co-parenting. We never got there. So then they started playing the game, which I thought was a cute game. It was never guilty. Like, I would never, I'm guilty, or I did. Like, and it's basically like amped up version of would you ever kind of thing. Like, they ask questions and then you have to hold up the card, and of course it sparks conversation. So they ask questions about oral sex, and I thought it was interesting because we know that that's the one thing Martell has said that Melody didn't do, which is what made him go find another woman. And Melody said that she was doing it. She said she was doing it damn near every day towards the end of their marriage because she was trying to save her marriage, honey. She said if oral sex was the only problem me and Martell had, then we would still be married. Well, she said we still wouldn't be married because he cheated. But I think she meant to say we would still be married. But that's not the only problem they had, because he was out there cheating. Anyway. Then they asked about threesomes or whatever. And it was cute. Kimmy was like, yeah, Maurice said he wanted a threesome. And I nipped that in the bud because I was like, yeah, me, you, and another dude. And he was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So then something came up about Kimmy being touchy-feely. And Kimmy was like, well, that's who I am. I'm a touchy-feely person. I've touched Martell. That's just what I do. And here go, Tisha. You better not touch Marcel. Tisha, don't nobody want him but you. Girl, if you don't stop. Well, and that woman he allegedly got a baby with, but that's allegedly. But Kimmy don't want him. Girl. And it'd be different if Tisha was joking. Y'all, Tisha was dead ass. Don't nobody want Marcel but you. So then we see Tisha and Marcel. They are Scott Manor, which is still not nowhere close to being done. It looks like they bought this land like up on a hill, so they got to pave the way to the land before they can even level out to start building. And they are 6 months into this project, and they basically see no progress from beginning to where we are now. And so they're kind of frustrated because, you know, you're dealing with family, and it's, you know, it's hard when you're dealing with family to put your foot down the same way you would if it were an outside contractor. But they are frustrated, and they're kind of like not understanding why things aren't or haven't progressed to where they feel like they should have progressed to. And they're sort of talking about how they're going to have to kind of, you know, have a conversation with Uncle Jerome and all that. And it is a sensitive subject when you're dealing with family. So then Tisha brings up how somebody sent Melody a video from the event down to Houston for, you know, Cigar Week. And somebody said that Marceau was rubbed up on some dude, not some dude, on some woman. And of course they bringing up Kyra again. And I was like, girl, stop it. And of course the picture, the so-called receipts, really, first of all, Tisha was at that party. So any receipts that were produced, Tisha was at the damn party. Second of all, the picture is like their best friend with their husband. Like it was a bust, whatever it was. And of course, Marceau was like, people don't have nothing better to do but send videos. Marceau, you've been doing this long enough to know, no, people have nothing better to do. You know that they can't wait to catch your ass with them 10 girlfriends that they done brought up 2 seasons ago. You know that, so stop it. So then Tisha brings up how she wants him to go to therapy. He was like, yeah, that's not happening. And she is trying to really get him to go to therapy. And he's like, no, if you want to go to therapy and you feel like that's what you need, please do. But for me, I'm good. I don't need no therapy. I don't want to go to therapy, you know. And Tisha was like, well, I feel like we made some, you know, some great strides. I feel like, and you could tell when she said, I feel like we made progress with you. So basically, you want to go to therapy because you think that he needs the therapy, not so much you need the therapy, or that y'all need the therapy. Listen, last week, and some of y'all ain't like what I had said, and that's fine. I love y'all anyway. Last week, what I had said about Marceau was, why are we getting mad at Marceau for being Marceau? I'm not saying that Tisha can't grow, change, and evolve. I'm not saying that. And in a marriage, people are going to grow. If you're with somebody for 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you are not going to be the same person. You shouldn't be the same person. That I understand. What I'm saying, or the point that I'm making is, we can't get mad at Marceau for being who he is if Tisha is the one that's changing, evolving, and growing. Unfortunately, at some point, they might have to hit a crossroads. Tisha, at the end of the day, your husband has dug his heels in and said, this is who I am. I'm not changing. I'm not adjusting. I'm not growing. I don't want to be nothing more than what I am. Okay? I'm a businessman that wants a traditional wife, a traditional home. I want her to stay home, take care of the household, let me pay the bills, and I want to bring her a good life. I want to make sure that she lives a good life. She ain't going to have to want or need for nothing, and she don't need to know how that happens. Like, that's what I'm getting. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying that Tisha is wrong for saying, I am not the person that agreed to do this 5 years ago. I'm different. I've evolved. I've grown. All I'm saying is that is why people get divorced. Because one person grew and evolved and the other person refused to do it. When I say I love Marceau, I don't know him, but I like Marceau. I think Marceau is a Neanderthal and has very old-fashioned views on marriage and how his home should be run. But I ain't married to him. I think he's funny as hell. Now, I'm not saying that Tisha is wrong, but the other thing you can't do is force I said this last week. You can't force therapy on somebody. If he is refusing to go to therapy, again, decisions have to be made. You can continue to go to therapy, and that might help you deal with the situation with your husband. But what you can't do is force him to see it your way if he is refusing to do so. Does that make sense what I just said? I feel like I said a whole lot to say nothing. But anyway, so then we had Melody and Destiny sit down and try to work out their issues. Melody showed up with a watermelon. She said, listen, We gonna cut this watermelon, and if it's sweet, we still friends. If it's sour or if it ain't so sweet, then we ain't friends no more. And that's how we gonna handle it. Her and Destiny sat there. I had a conversation. Let me be honest with you. The way it was edited, I really don't feel like they came to any sort of conclusion. I feel like they just got tired of arguing. Which happens with friends sometimes. When you're really, really, truly friends with somebody, y'all are going to disagree. Y'all going to fight. Y'all going to argue. And at a certain point, sometimes it's like, girl, so you want some tequila? You want to take a shot? Okay, cool. Like, you just tired of arguing. I feel like at the crux of the situation, Destiny felt like Melody set her up. At the crux of the situation, I don't think Melody set Destiny up, but I also feel like there was a part of Melody that was not mad at what Tiffany did. Y'all feel what I'm saying? I feel like Destiny was trying to get Melody to understand her point of view, and Melody really wasn't trying to hear it. I just feel like at a certain point, they just got tired of arguing, and they ate that damn watermelon, and the watermelon was sweet, and so they said, we best friends again. It happens. It happens. So, for some reason, all of the stars aligned in the Scott household, on the Scott family, and all of the boys seem to be moving into high school at the same time, right? You have Monster, you have their other brother who's not really on the show, but he films from time to time. We have him. We have Marcel and Letitia's son. I think he's a junior. The three boys that are on the billboard at Black. Four of them. There's actually four of them that are on the billboard at Black. All of them are going to high school at the same time. Somehow another child, like I said, the stars aligned, and all of them are going to high school at the same time. And so they had a whole party for them. They had a little speech where they were talking about how this is a rite of passage. This is a time of transition. It's important. And Maurice said something that is so important. And as an educator, I need y'all to hear this. And parents, I really need y'all to understand this. When Maurice said, oh my gosh, when he said it, I was like, yes, please. He said everything from this point forward counts. And that's the one thing that I think parents and students do not get. When they go from 8th grade to high school, 9th grade starts that GPA. Everything counts. You can pass 7th grade and fail 3 classes, depending on where you live, okay? You can't do that in high school. You fail English, and that's a wrap. Unless you go to summer school. But, you know, it's a whole different ball game. And 4 years goes by like that. You start your freshman year off with 2 or 3 D's or F's. You spend the next 3 years trying to get your GPA up to something decent when it's time to start applying to colleges. Now, I went off on a tangent. Let me come back. But I'm just telling y'all, it is important. So it was nice. And the other thing that happened at this little situation was the return of Miss Wanda. Now, it took them 6 episodes, Jesus, to bring us Miss Wanda. But Miss Wanda and her shellacked hairstyle were back in the building. Okay. They put the boys on a party bus. I guess they were just gonna ride around town. They had sparkling cider and stuff, you know, having a good time on the party bus. I thought that was really sweet of them, real cute idea. And then they went into Black to have themselves some adult time. Let me say what I enjoyed about this scene. Because Melody was there, Martell was there, Tiffany and her husband came, Kiowa and her husband were there, the Scott brothers, their significant others. What I can say that I loved about this scene is what this show sold us at the beginning. I don't know if Random TV Reviews is watching my review or not. If you are, give me a woo woo in the comments. But this was a conversation that we had at the beginning. We were like, this is great. This situation is great. We've got these Black professionals in the South doing some good things, being positive. And this scene gave me all of that. They were laughing. They were joking. They were having a good time. It was no drama. It was no mess. Even Melody and Martell were having a good time. They were picking on Martell because, you know, Martell been in the gym. I guess he been taking out all his frustrations with Melody on the barbells because Martell is getting hawked up. And he's still wearing the same size shirts from before he started getting hawked up. So the shirts are like medium. And so the guys was clowning him about his shirts, and Melody was like, don't let them get you, don't let them clown you all day. And they was like, oh, look at Melody defending her man. And of course everybody turned that into, ooh, maybe there's hope. Listen, I think I got a better chance of marrying the Rock than Melody and Martell got to get back together. Now Marceau talking about something. I think that Melody just took it too far. I think Melody, put divorce out there as a threat for Martell to get it together, and it just went too far. Sir, let that go. Let that go. And I don't know. I'm not saying they ain't gonna never get back together, but I don't think it'll be no time soon. Like no time soon. But anyway, so that was a great time. That was so good to see. So good to for us to see that moment. Now I'm sure it's gonna go to shit next episode because I saw some scenes. But for right now, everything was cool. Now, when Tiffany and her husband showed up, Maurice was like, "This will be the perfect time for us to have a conversation." So at a certain point, Maurice was like, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" To Tiffany and her husband. And, it was Kimmy, Maurice, Tiffany, and her husband. And Maurice was like, basically, and I'm gonna just cut through the bullshit. Basically, Maurice was like, why would you bring up my son's personal business, one, in front of mixed company, people who don't know him, and two, the cameras are there. Why would you put my son's business out to the world? He said, there's a reason why there are different. Listen, when he said this, I was like, oh shit. He said, there's a reason why there's a different set of rules for adults and for children. Children are protected for a reason. He said, now my son has to wear this stigma in front of the world. Because again, this wasn't just you having a mixed conversation around a bunch of people. This was you telling the world because the cameras were there. Now, I do think part of the problem was that Kimmy didn't know, which Kimmy should have known. Now, at a certain point, Kyle came over because Kyle was like, listen, y'all talking about my son? I need to be a part of it. And to Tiffany's husband's credit, he was like, listen, I understand where you coming from, and I understand what's being said. I get it. I hear you and I get it. I don't think there was any ill intent. I don't think there was any ill intent. And Tiffany talking about something, well, I thought we were just having an honest conversation. I thought we were just being open. And, I think sometimes people need to understand the struggles that are being had. Tiffany, that's not your decision to make for the whole world. Again, first of all, you don't even know her. It would be different if that was Melody having that conversation with Kimmy. They have a history. They have a past. There's a foundation for their friendship. Then you could say, listen, I know that I'm struggling with this with my son, and I heard that Monster went through this. How did y'all handle it? That's a whole nother conversation. It still would have been wrong for Melody to bring it up without talking to Kimmy and Maurice with the cameras there. But there would have been a different conversation. You don't know these people, and you are bringing up something that is very private about their child. Again, the adults in the room sign up for this. But it's a general rule that the kids are just off limits. And Tiffany, you violated. And again, like I said at the beginning of this, you were looking for a moment. So now you got that moment. Next thing you know, Tiffany's sitting there crying, child. Now, while this is going on, Miss Wanda is having a conversation with, she kind of coming at Melody a little bit, and having a conversation with Melody, and Melody was like, I ain't got time for Miss Wanda. I'm not doing Miss Wanda today. And she walks away, and she ends up coming to the conversation. Melody, you could clearly tell that was a private conversation. You could clearly tell that was a private conversation. Why are you in the middle of that? But ultimately, I think Tiffany's husband understood what the issue was, and he was really trying to be real nice about it. I feel like Maurice was stern but not nasty. I can appreciate Kyle's input in it. The person that I think that walked away and still didn't get it was probably Tiffany. I still don't think she got it. Eventually, Tiffany walks away. Melody goes and comforts her. And Melody gonna say, I think the biggest problem is the fact that Melody didn't know. I mean, that Kimmy didn't know. No, the biggest problem was that it wasn't Tiffany's business. So somewhere the thing that made Melody get up from the table was Miss Wanda talking about the fact that Marcel took Melody a bottle of their champagne to talk to her about being a brand ambassador, but didn't and did it without Tisha being there, and the fact that he didn't take one to Martell. So now they're trying to insinuate that Marcel is what, flirting with Melody, or Melody is flirting with Marcel. Don't nobody want him but y'all. Nobody on this show wants Marceau. But you, Tisha. Oh my goodness. So the guys decide they're going to go outside and smoke a good cigar. Somehow, Martell done got, hemmed up in the corner with Miss Wanda and Melody. Now Miss Wanda is trying to tell Melody that she shouldn't have divorced Marceau. That, yeah, Marceau cheated, but oh well, men cheat. And you should have just stayed at home and dealt with it. I don't understand Miss Wanda again. Wanda looking for a moment, because last year you telling Melody you could do better and Marceau ain't ish. Now it's, well, I can't believe that you divorced him. Men gonna cheat. Why you ain't just stick it out with him? So the guys are outside talking, and the guys are outside talking, and they are talking about basically they start talking to Martell about the extra baby, and somebody said something to him about, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the extra baby, his other child, and somebody said something to him about did he get a DNA test? Marcel gonna say, I don't think you should. If you love her, I don't think you should do that. I mean, do you love her? And of course, Martell is sitting there with that look on his face like, what? So that's kind of where it ended. So that's why I say I know next week we're going to pick up where we left off, honey. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.